You always have to remember that when we're probably going to be covering how reform are doing in some of these local councils, very often some of that opposition is going to come from, conservatives. Because in some cases they are running some of these councils. How successfully, of course, they ran them, that can be, of course, up for debate. It's always is when it comes to these types of things. However, in Leicestershire, where we saw on the last Sunday live stream the absolute catastrophic nature in which Dan Harrison was like trying to follow this crazy ideological rule that, oh yeah, we've got all these cuts and things that we're going to do, so what are you going to do? Oh, I can't talk about it, it's secret, there's a tender out there. And oh yes, I was warning that all these things were going to be done wrong, and now we're going to do something different about it, which was like, okay, what different about it are you going to do? I mean, I don't know, quite frankly, how any of those councillors would have been calm. There was one of the Conservative councillors, I can't remember his name, I think quite rightly, was probably showing the appropriate level of calm, where he was going, yeah, I don't have confidence in you. I don't have any confidence that you are going to get this budget, because he was right. Remember, they've got to have this ready and published by December to be voted on in February. That gives them, when this outside team gets hired, 3 weeks, 3 weeks to do a full council audit. I have a sneaking suspicion who in their right mind, as an audit company, would do that. I have to wonder, is this tender going to fail? Or if Harrison doesn't get the results he wanted, then what is he going to do? Because he is putting so much emphasis on these on that audit, and it's all like all these decisions, everything going to be based off this audit. And oh, don't worry, they've got ideas. They've identified these savings, but I can't tell you. I can't talk about them. Maddening. Anyway, we're going to go to a piece now that the chairwoman of the scrutiny committee, Deborah Taylor, wrote for Conservative Home about, as she calls it, the absolutely shambolic rule in Leicestershire. And oh boy, there's even more stuff going on than had been, said. But oh wow, oh wow, is this bad? But before we get more into this, please, of course, do remember to click on the like, share, and of course, the subscribe button down below. Don't, of course, forget to ring the bell as well so you get notifications of when we drop a new video or when we go live. And, of course, as always, there are the links down below for the Patreon page. There's the Buy Me Coffee link where you can, buy me a coffee, the YouTube thank you button, and, of course, as always, there's the YouTube membership button as well that you can join too. So thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel that way. Anyway, let's crack on then into this. But oh boy, yeah, get ready for this one. Strap in. So, when I was asked to write a piece for Conservative Home about how councils run by Reform UK are getting on, my first thought was, where do I start? I have to agree with her, considering what we've been seeing coming from Leicestershire County Council. It's madness. I still cannot believe I've been able to do this much content about the insanity, the incompetence, the crazy decisions that is going on these councils. And I can tell you now, end of November, December is going to become very, very busy. Very busy indeed. So, back to this. After the Conservatives had run Leicestershire County Council for over 24 years, it had understandably, of course, been a very uncertain time for staff. And inexperienced leadership from Reform UK has not helped with that at all. The mood when you enter County Hall has now been subdued now for months on from the elections. And I am not surprised by this. This is something that I've been hearing a lot of. And bear in mind, doing this, I have had people approach me who work for these councils telling me stuff I cannot tell you because it might put their jobs at risk. But I can tell you now, the mood in some of these councils and some of the staff is dire, absolutely dire. I wish I could tell you some of the stuff I've got and I've been told. I really wish I could, but I can't because otherwise they might get the sack. But I really don't want to tell you, honestly, because I don't want to put their jobs at risk. But back to this. Reform UK, of course, took control of Leicestershire County Council back in May, forming a majority administration of 25 out of the 55 seats, three seats short of a majority. The remaining seats on the council, 15 to the Conservatives, 11 to the Lib Dems, 2 to Labour, 1 Green and 1 Independent. We ruled out a coalition with Reform UK from day one. If I wanted to join a circus, I would have done that instead of being a councillor. God, I have to say this. On the scrutiny committee, oh boy, was she delivering some body blows. She was delivering some absolute body blows to Dan Harrison on that. It was absolutely brutal on that one. So what else does he continue with? So far, Reform UK's tenure has been, of course, a mixed bag of bold pledges, internal challenges, and now criticism from opposition parties. Here is just now a small snapshot. So, Reform UK slowly chose Dan Harrison as their leader, a former Conservative councillor who defected Reform back in February of 2025, and who is now the father-in-law of the previous Conservative leader. Under the Conservatives, Dan has never held a senior position. There is a reason for that, which as many watchers of local government in Leicestershire are starting to see. Can I just say, this is something I have been talking about as well. A lot of these people who were former Conservatives who have switched to Reform UK are doing so because they were not good. As she's just said there, yeah, he's never held a senior position. I think you're going to see why. And I think people can see why. Because these people are just not good. But they are switching because they think that's the best option. They think they might be able to finally prove themselves. And they aren't. They aren't proving themselves one bit. They are causing disaster and catastrophe on this one. Joseph Brom, the 22-year-old councillor, then became the deputy leader and cabinet member for adult social care. Joseph is a very interesting, has a very interesting social media past, and from his posts, we can learn that he shares now a love of Andrew Tate and has shared that depression is not real. Charles Pugsley, the 19-year-old full-time university student, was then given the role of cabinet member for children and family services. And as it was expressed last time, why might you think that a lot of parents or people who deal with that type of stuff in Leicestershire are suddenly racing to make sure that they've got their stuff in place? I'm not surprised. Anyway, both of these appointments were then viewed by skepticism from councillors and the professionals alike, due to the demands of the roles now assigned to new young councillors with a complete lack of experience needed now for these roles. The new administration, before the elections, promised then a deep dive into council finances, pledging an American-style Doge audit to then address all the perceived waste, such as the £35 million worth on consultants, the £1 million on transition services, both now false claims. They claim that this audit conducted by a pro bono forensic auditors and data analysts wouldn't cost taxpayers anything. We are still awaiting their arrival. That's because they're still busy down in Kent doing God knows what. Although, I don't know, we might finally find out sometime soon. Their first task was to convene an emergency cabinet meeting to discuss which flags to fly. This, of course, they won't do. They tried to avoid scrutiny, but their cabinet decision was then called in by opposition leaders. We ended up and now with 2 additional cabinet meetings and a scrutiny commission hearing to actually discuss what flag to fly and where and when. How much did all these extra meetings cost? I am still waiting for a figure on it. Although although I thought they were, of course, all about cutting waste. Another now of that transferring £2 million from the carbon reduction budget to now the flooding budget. Not much actual work has actually been done in the past 4 months since Reform UK has been in power. By August then of 2025, Joseph Prompt was then sacked as deputy leader and his cabinet role after only 3 months, reportedly now due to clashes with Harrison and concerns over his commitment. So, back to the benches for Joseph, with now the loss of over £25,000 in special responsibilities allowance. So, we now have a new deputy and 2 additional cabinet members. More cost, circa probably around £22,000. I still thought they were all about cutting waste. As the Conservative opposition leader, I have completely run out of adjectives how to describe Reform's leadership. Yeah, it is getting bad in Leicestershire. It is getting very bad indeed. When it comes to local government reorganisation, Reform's plan, such as they have any plan, is then to surrender parts of the county to the Labour-run City Council, with all talks happening now behind closed doors, with no communication, no opposition leaders, and residents now are rightly furious about this. The Conservative group spoke to residents in the summer when we tabled a motion backed by other opposition parties to try and formally oppose any Leicester City land grab. So this is something else we keep on talking about, the local government reorganisation. This is probably going to become a big thing in November when these plans actually get brought up. That's going to be a fun moment as well in many of these councils. So 4 months in, there are now splits in the Reform UK group, arguments, even sackings. And did I mention the former deputy leader is now under police investigation for electoral malpractice? Because, yes, he was selling ice creams. Again, I just can't believe that. And then, did I, of course, mention the council's vice chair was then sacked from Leicestershire Police for misconduct? Oh, didn't know about that, but that's new. The chief executive, who has then been head of our council for over 30 years and is now the longest chief executive now in the country, has now announced his retirement in November. He was retiring in July, but the new leader then begged him to stay until November, even though he campaigned on the mantra, how Leicestershire Council wastes your money on paying the chief executive more than £220,000 a year. Good Lord. Oh my word. There's like I say, there's just so much stuff you hear, and honestly, I need to talk to more of these councillors. I need to get more of these councillors. And like I say, if you know any of these councillors, feel free to ask them to get them in touch with me, because I will gladly platform anyone of these people. I don't care what party they're from. Well, maybe. But you know, anyone from, you know, the Greens, Lib Dems, Conservatives, Labour, etc., even if they're independent, I'll gladly platform them if they want to come on here and tell us just what on earth is going on in these councils. Because it is absolutely insane. The level of incompetence in some of these places is off the chart. I'm going to have to try and get someone from Leicestershire on. I absolutely am going to have to try and get someone on. It's crazy, honestly. The leader has also promised tax cuts. What could, of course, possibly go wrong? Is there anything, of course, good happening at all, you may ask? Well, all the opposition parties are at least working together to hold Reform UK to account. Our Conservative group is at least strong, and we are now mentoring our new councillors, unlike Reform UK, who now throw them under the bus. I at least have a bit more time for my family now. Not that I am juggling leading the council and, of course, being a cabinet member for children and families. Every cloud, as they say. Let's see what they've got to say on the on this. Someone talking about Tommy Robinson, things like that. Yeah, no one's really talking about it. No, there's only 3 comments to it, but yeah, not surprising at the moment. Wow, Deborah Taylor, if you ever see this, and you're interested in coming on, we'll do a live stream, and you want to dish the dirt on what's going on, please, by all means, do feel free to get in touch. I would love to talk to someone on Leicestershire County Council, because quite frankly, seems a bit crazy going on over there at the moment. Absolutely crazy. Oh my. But yeah, craziness, honestly. And this goes, bear in mind, for any council. If you know someone, if you're a councillor, and you are currently under a reform government, by all means, do feel free to come on and reach out. I will gladly give you a platform. We'll have a conversation. I've already done one with Councillor Conator from Warwickshire, who's a Green Party councillor. Like I say, I will gladly speak to anyone. If you want to come on and just explain what is going on in your county council with these reform people in charge. Because I have a very interesting feeling that there's even more stuff going on that hasn't even come to light yet and that you know about. So, like I say, the offer is there and it remains there. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Do remember to click on the like and share button. And of course, as always, I'll see you all next time.